Yo, what up, Street Talks? There, Kim. All right, another turbo thought. So this one is about how food is your natural steroid. So the last few days I've been feeling like really tired and exhausted and not certain why. And actually the reason I discovered was I was eating too much, the last few meals, my mom just visited from South Korea, and she's been cooking some meals with kind of lean cuts of pork, and it didn't quite, give me enough nutrition density to fuel me. And as a consequence, even that's the funny thing, is when you eat a lot of lean meat, you're technically full, but you're not really satisfied. And my theory too is cholesterol is a natural steroid, so the more cholesterol, the more saturated fat you eat, the better. And so the other night though, she made beef shank with delicious, the cartilage and the sinews around it, made this great recipe, put it on the cast iron, fried it a little bit and baked in the oven for 2 hours, super soft, with also delicious bone marrow inside. And Seneca, maybe he's gonna be the first keto baby, but he loves bone marrow. I actually got the idea from the Iliad, where either baby Hector or baby Achilles is given bone marrow as a child, so becomes big and strong. But anyways, so I ate a ton of the fatty beef, ate a bunch of the bone marrow, and just to top it off, at the very end, I probably had like 8 pasture raised eggs. And this is also something I discovered. I actually do think pasture raised eggs are worth it, because if you look at the yolks of just normal eggs, they're very pale, but pasture raised eggs, the yolks are super amber, deeper, kind of more of an orange color. And my theory is that it's because it has superior nutrition. And the irony is, I've even bought organic eggs which are non-pasture raised. The yolks are still relatively pale. So the heuristic, and this is why I love Japan so much, and just traveling and stuff, it looks like a lot of countries that are not America, they actually have deeper, darker amber yolks, which is great because it increases the nutrition density. The thought is the more amber and deeper the yolk color, the better, because it has more omega-3s or whatever stuff. The same reason why I also think that it's good to eat as much grass-fed beef as possible. I found that the best bang for the buck is probably at Costco. They have the Kirkland brand, Costco brand, frozen grass-fed beef patties, which is a pretty good deal. And the higher nutrition density, whatever. And so essentially the moral of the story is, the more cholesterol, the more saturated fat, the more beefy stuff you eat, the better. Because how's it going? Happy Lunar New Year's.
Yeah.
Enjoying the weather?
Oh yeah.
Your legs are looking strong.
Beautiful out. It was
Beautiful.
warm in the morning.
I know, it's like 89 degrees. Have a good one.
All right.
And so I had that massive meal, and then actually as a consequence I slept so much better. I fell asleep faster, and I woke up feeling so much better and having so much more energy even today. So anyways, moral of the story is, it's funny because I was doing some research into synthetically produced, when people create quote-unquote steroids. Essentially it's a sterile, and it's all it kind of goes back to cholesterol. And we've been brainwashed to think that cholesterol is going to cause you heart attack and saturated fat, blah blah, but that's actually not the case. The funny thing is, they discovered that consuming more dietary cholesterol actually doesn't really raise your blood level cholesterol. Same thing with fat, right? People are always afraid that, the more fat, saturated fat I eat, I'm going to clog more arteries and I'm going to die. But they've actually found that, if you eat a lot of fat, it doesn't actually make you fat. Actually, on the contrary, I haven't eaten any carbs or starches or sugars for the last like 7-8 years. So people, oh, it's not sustainable. I'm like, it just depends on how much you care, I suppose. But anyways, and so yeah, it's good for us to think about food not only as our medicine but as our steroid, and to make us stronger, to think more clearly. So generally the food advice that I suggest, or at least what I follow, that's worked actually very well for me the last, in 2016, 8 years, is no breakfast, no lunch, so intermittent fasting, and the first meal I have is dinner, so whatever dinner time is, right? Typically I try to do a Ramadan style whenever the sun goes down, and during the day, lots of water, filtered water, tap water, whatever. And when I first wake up, just drink a shitload of coffee. And then actually a new thing I've been doing is batching a very, very strong dose of coffee first thing in the morning, but abstaining for the rest of the day. And actually it seems that it helps with my sleep a little bit better. I mean, let us assume that caffeine takes 12 to 14 hours to exit your bloodstream completely. So nowadays, because I'm trying to improve my sleep, I'm gonna try to get to bed at like 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. And so if you do the math, right, you don't want to drink coffee after like 8 or 9 a.m. So anyways, so that, and then when you break your fast, eat as much fatty meat, beef, pork belly, whatever as possible. And if you're still hungry, eat as much pastured eggs, including the yolk, afterwards as possible. And also something I've discovered is abstain from all nuts, legumes, including almonds, sugars, natural or fake, all this nonsense about stevia, monk fruit, honey, blah blah. Essentially, if it's sweet, it'll make you fat, whether it is 0 calories or not, because even if you consume a 0 calorie sweetener, you can't fool your body. Your body's hormonal response is, sweet, time for me to, jack up my insulin. And so, I mean, I haven't seen any studies on that. I haven't done the research, but I'm quite certain if one has a big dose of stevia or monk fruit or one of those nonsensical 0 calorie sweeteners, your blood sugar levels will probably spike up, which causes accumulation of fat. And also no vegetables. I've actually found that honestly most of them are pretty starchy, like even cauliflower, broccoli, stuff which is supposed to be good for you. And the only cocoa veggies I eat, I don't even call it vegetables anymore, I just call it herbs, right? Cilantro, basil, stuff like that, or bitter greens. So bitter is better, so kale, even spinach is actually pretty sweet. And even nowadays, the funny thing is kale is actually becoming sweeter. And then, since I'm Korean, I eat a lot of kimchi, which is actually probably, it's so funny because whenever I go to Korean barbecue and eat a bunch of kimchi and stuff like that, I feel like a little bit fatter the next day. And I think it's because a lot of Korean restaurants, they add a ton of sugar to the kimchi to make it taste better. So if you like kimchi, either make it yourself or, buy it at the store so you can see what the ingredients are. No sauces and stuff like that. I mean, I just try to stick to the, salt, pepper, cayenne, the basics and stuff like that. And that's pretty much it. No dairy. Even like since I'm Asian, East Asian, I can't even tolerate butter. Or I've tried kefir, I've tried all the, the ghee and stuff like that. So my big suggestion is just think that your food consumption is very specific. And even when people say, oh, this food is healthy or not healthy, I don't think people really know what they mean to say. I think a more empirical way is just think, does this make me fat or not? Right? And then one could do everything past then.